Hello! I've quitted Lost Ark and moved on to Final Fantasy, and I would like to share you my experience/journey. Before going to the video, I just want to give a bit of a background. I used to play Lost Ark every day, 3 days before launch with the Founder Pack Edition, and I've accumulated 4.4k hours, so needless to say, I have a lot of experience with the game. During my time, I've engaged with high-end raiding until Brescialsa and a lot of Inferno content, like Falton into Kalkunsaidon, which you can probably guess from my old run, so I would say I wasn't a casual player either. Lost Ark is also my first MMO that I invested a lot of time into. I didn't play the big league like WoW, RuneScape, Guild Wars, so on, like all the big creators. So I believe that I have a unique perspective into the scene. I know from word of mouth there's a lot of Lost Ark player that is burned out of the game and move on to another game. I have watched video about Final Fantasy 14 players trying out Lost Ark, but not the other way around, which is why I'm making this video. With that out of the way, let's jump into the video. First topic that I want to talk about is the community. This is one of the big reasons why I'm still playing this game to this day, specifically how they are treating Sprouts, which is the synonym of Mokoko in the game. It is a stark contrast compared to Lost Ark. Veterans of the game love to see new player and are very welcoming, which is weird feeling for me who only played Lost Ark, where we gatekeep player with low roster level from our group because we don't want them to wipe us and waste our time. Whenever I needed potion or food for raiding, people are always willing to help and provide me with some, and we are stuck on a queue for too long. Some are more than likely will offer to join to make the queue faster. The new player experience in Final Fantasy is such a huge difference and an eye-opener on how much it matters in the longevity of the game, which is why Final Fantasy get new player year after year. Another aspect that I really love in Final Fantasy is mine or minimum item level no echo. It is a settings where you can toggle to lower your item level into the required item level to enter, just like in Inferno content. This allows newer player or veteran to experience or re-experience the older content without plowing through it. Imagine this. You have a friend that wants to try out Falton Raid for the first time. However, nowadays people have 5 engravings, so the group skip all the mechanic and just clear it in 15 or 20 minutes. I believe this serves the experience because they are not able to experience the struggle of dying to access or falling from the platform again and again before finally getting the clear. Not just Falton, how about Argos or Alaric? New player will never be able to experience it. Lost Ark have tried to recycle older content with Challenge Abyss Dungeon or Inferno or Extreme, but those are limited time content, which means that the player won't be able to enjoy the content anytime he wants. Meanwhile, in Final Fantasy, you can experience it anytime you want, and those raid series taking us months to finish. It is crazy how easy it is to find newer player who also want to experience older content with this setting, something that is really hard to find in Lost Ark. Next, I want to talk about the endgame. It is no surprise to Lost Ark that the endgame is Legion Raid. That is their bread and butter. It is surprising to me that there's a lot of player in Final Fantasy who does not raid. Raiding is a content, but it's not the only content you can do inside the game. You have Gold Saucer, you have PvP, you have clubbing, concert, field operation, roleplay, housing, and the true endgame of Final Fantasy, glamour or skin. This made me realize, oh, so this is an MMO. Due to my lack of experience, I was always under the impression that the reason to play MMO is to raid. That is the end goal. Final Fantasy opened my perspective into showing me what this genre actually offers. A community social based content. A content that encourages people to share what they created in the game. I am glad that Lost Ark talked about adding more casual content, but forgive my skepticism, as long as the game does not stop demanding player to keep farming materials, I feel like the players are going to ignore those content since it doesn't reward anything. Another thing that I enjoy from Final Fantasy is multiple progression system without them being tied to the main vertical progression system. My issues with Lost Ark is, while I love raiding, I personally don't enjoy the other activity that the game demands me to do in order to progress. Chaos Dungeon, Guardian Raid, Honing, Stone Cutting, Event Island, World Boss, Chaos Gate. While in Final Fantasy, I was able to log into the game, raid for 12 hours if I want to, and if I feel tired, I can just do something else. I don't feel like I'm missing out of something because the game is generous enough to give player choices to do whatever they want. You make your own goal, whether you want to mount farm, solo dungeon, or just socializing. The goal is not determined by the game, but yourself. It is very easy to get to the eye level to start participating with the endgame content for new player. Even now, I'm already progging P12S, which is the final fight of the current tier. I will talk more in depth about the different rating experience between the two games in another video, but with all the praises out of the way, there are some aspects of Final Fantasy that, in my opinion, lacking compared to Lost Ark, because no game is perfect. First of all, the combat. I think we can all agree that Lost Ark have a better combat system. It is fast-paced, it is responsive, it's exciting to play. Final Fantasy, on the other hand, is very slow and clunky, with a dreaded system which what player base call a snapshot. This, in combination of 3-second second server ticks make it unbearable for first-time player coming from another game. The next thing that I think Lost Ark did better than Final Fantasy is quality of life. Lost Ark have made great stride in improving minor inconvenience for player to improve their experience. Some quality of life that I miss including instant mount casts. I wish Final Fantasy removed the cast time since it doesn't add anything into the game. Inventory system where belt items and raid loot is separated into different tabs to clean up your inventory, which Final Fantasy is in dire need of. Speech bubble, which I'm surprised is not built into the base game, and many more. The next one is more of a personal preference, but I personally like how Lost Ark is small in an area, so you don't have to travel too much. Final Fantasy Overworld is massive, and that should have been a big plus if there's actually stuff in it. Final Fantasy Overworld feels empty. It's big for no reason. There are fates, which is like a raid quest equivalent in Lost Ark, but it still doesn't fill the whole map. It is a spectacle for sure, but I think the dev can save a lot of time making a smaller maps with a condensed point of interest. If not, I think Final Fantasy can learn one or two from Lost Ark sailing system. Even though sailing in Lost Ark is still boring, but having small islands in between or hazardous area make it more fun to travel around. Maybe Final Fantasy can add a hidden chest which contain materials that spawn randomly throughout the map. I don't know. This will help player to be excited when they found one while traveling. Lost Ark have done a good job of making a space feels full while still providing player with gorgeous landscape. Again, that's just my personal taste. And lastly that I want to talk about is the early leveling. Something that I personally like about Lost Ark is how the early leveling felt. Final Fantasy make you start with one button and you just mash that button until you level up and gain more buttons. Final Fantasy combat in the endgame is significantly different, requiring 16 or more buttons in your hotbar. Lost Ark on the other hand introduced new player to 6 starting skills, which introduced the player into the endgame combat immediately. I remember fighting Falton inside Lutera Castle, which is very early in the MSQ, and feeling that is the sickest combat ever. I was very excited to what can the combat feels like as I progress to the harder and harder boss. I don't believe it is a strong argument saying that yeah, you just need to wait until you get to the endgame to learn your job potential. I believe that Final Fantasy can do a better job at making the job fun while leveling. It doesn't have to be fully unlocked, but having a core rotation available already from the early stage of the game helps players get the feel how the job will play in the endgame. Some suggestion that I can think of is giving player more buttons at the start with lower potency power, and as they level up, they get more traits to increase their potency slowly. I don't know, it's just an idea. So what is the verdict? Is Final Fantasy a better game than Lost Ark? Well, not really. I still have a lot of complaints about both games. I think being able to play both of them is a good thing. I can always come back to Lost Ark when new Inferno mode is released, since that's the only content that I care, and I still love the exciting combat from Lost Ark. Meanwhile, in Final Fantasy, it provides me with content that doesn't require my attention 24/7, so I can log in whenever I feel like, and that is a huge plus. I'm getting old. I don't have as much free time as I used to, so having a game telling me, hey, feel free to do whatever you want in the game is such a huge relief. It'll be nice to be able to play games all day every day, but I'm not there yet. My goal currently is to be able to clear the new Future Rewritten Ultimate during Dawn Trail, which is releasing during summer this year, and in order to do that, I'm learning all the older raids to get myself used to the mechanics and my class. If there are ex-Lost Ark player who have moved on to Final Fantasy, leave a comment below and just say hi. It would mean a lot to me. That's all for this video. Good luck and have fun.